So today on this video, I'm going to speak about two areas in regards to the hero's journey, and that is one, the ordeal, and two, the reward. I'll see you after this. So welcome back. My name's Sage. I'm from Karnak Holistics, where we learn together and we grow together in the sight of God. So today I'm going to speak about the ordeal and the reward. And what I just wanted to make this quite clear is obviously these are the last final parts leading up to the road back along your hero's journey. So first of all, let's speak about the ordeal. Now the ordeal is where you've dealt with all the trials, you've dealt with your mentor, you know where you're at, you know where the growth is from, and you've come through, you've been to that dark place, and you're dealing with all those aesthetics and all that inner turmoil that is inside you that you need. You know what you need to do, you know what changes you need to confront, because you've been in that dark valley. You've confronted those dark inner demons that have been plagued you for most of your life, and situations and people even. You've met your mentor. Your mentor's helped you have a realization about what you're really about and what your journey should be about. The next one is to make you think and make you feel and realize, what is it that you need to do now? What is your next step? And this is the ordeal. And this is where you need to really manifest and really look at what that ordeal looks like for you. What does that initially bring up for you? What is that feeling? What is the anger? How is this going to be played out? When you go into, for example, you're a young kid, you're going into school and you need to face that bully because he keeps taking your pocket money or spreading rumors about you, and you've just dealt with too much. What is your next step? You've spoken to all these people, you've got all your help, but it's down to you in that sense to face that dark entity within you, because it's to you, it's a massive step forward. It could also be your boss when you're at work, is where he's not being or she's not being very supportive, and then you feel like you're fighting against the tide. And no matter how much you're trying to say and change things, they're constantly putting you down, making you feel like you're the problem. You're the one that's not pulling the weight. You're the one that's not giving that 150%, when really you're working all the hours God sends, and you're the one who's keeping the business together. You're the one that's growing and helping grow the business, because you know that you have a good thing to keep. But this is where you need to turn around and you have to look at the ordeal. The ordeal, what you need to face. That ordeal is that step that you need to make. This is where you need to internalize it. You need to really look at yourself. You know, and not what other people say to you around you, telling you should do this, you should do that. You know what? It's what you want. It's how you are going to deal with this. What is your next step? How are you going to go about this? You've had all your advice from your mentor. You've had all the advice from close people around you. You've lived it, you breathed it. You know this is happening to you. What do you do inside you? You feel like you're falling apart. It scares you. It gives you butterflies. You have disappointment, anger, and confusion, but yet you know that if you don't do this thing's going to plague you for majority of your life. It may not be the same form of in future as it is now when you're there, but it's going to be manifested in different ways. And these things are being sent to help us grow and build within ourselves. Now, let me just share this with you, because this is quite poignant now about what I'm talking about the ordeal. When I started doing this series, the videos about the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell, for me, it made me to really look at how I could bring this over and what it's going to look like. And over the journey of recording these videos, and I'm almost at the end, I've had to look at my own ordeals, on my own insecurities, my own fears that I needed to face and bring into the light, and really be not afraid of who and what I am about. And out of that, I've embraced that I'm a witch and that I do these things in order to support and help people, no matter what other people are going to think of me. And you're a shining example, and I know I'm a shining example to other people. And if I'm telling other people, you need to face these inner demons or these inner fears, and I don't do that myself, I'm a hypocrite. You know, I'm just running from the darkness, the plague. People smell fear in you. And it's not, and don't be afraid. There are people that are out there that can help. They're not all dark and negative. There are people that will give you the time of day and give you the encouragement and support that you need going through this. You know, like when, for example, where Neo needed to stand up and face Agent Smith, and he was like, no. And he just stood there and he looked at Agent Smith and he saw all the numbers coming down the screen or in his eyes, and he saw what Agent Smith was really about. And he knew that he's not running anymore. If he stops running, other people will stop running, but it had to take one person to stop running and face the ordeal, and other things would then start changing. So I want to go on to the reward. Now the reward is about you, that you become, you've faced that dark or that your inner demon, that inner person within you, and now you have time to move forward and grow. And out of that, because you've overcome it and you was very successful, or even if you wasn't, when you become, the reward could be a negative or positive, but the reward is for the fact it's a share of knowledge of what you achieve out of those things. Say, for example, you face that bully and then you get beat, and then you're feeling even worse about yourself. But look, you made that step. Or you turn around and goes, look, you know what, I'm not happy in this relationship, or the area that you live in, and you want to make a change and you want to go and travel, you want to get away and move home or whatever, and you're fearful, but you've done it. You've made the inquiries. You've booked that flight. You've booked that travel to get away. You've bought that new car. You've sold off the stuff that you no longer need because you're moving out of town or out of state. You know, all these things. A friend of mine was for years saying that he wanted to move down south or in the UK. And for years he kept on saying, you know what, it's going to be next year, it's going to be next year, it's going to be next year. And Christmas came. 5 years it took him to make that step, because unfortunately someone very close to him passed away. And his line was like, if it's not now, it's going to be never. So he made that choice to say, okay, what have I got really that's here? And it was only that only one person that was really holding him back, that was there in his eyes, because over a period of time the person was saying, look, you know, it's time for you should just go. So no, long story short, he packed up and he changed his jobs and left his job and left and moved down south. It's been the best move, he said, he's ever done, because he says that he's by the sea. It's a better way of living for him, and it's also the people where he's living is in a smaller village. But he gets up in the morning and he walks along by the sea. And as he walks down by the sea, he sees these people and they say good morning to him, and they're very kind of open. Then when you're in London, they're very much not so forthcoming. But he liked that part of it, but he would never have done that if he didn't make the inquiries and that change. Now, he talked many times to say, all right, I'm going to go, and he's gone on trips and so on. But when he made that commitment to cut ties with London to move down south, things changed for him. And he spent years or so, but he's travelled a lot, so he comes and visits London. But he appreciates how London is for him because he knows that that part of him is now passed on. So, and again, that attachment and that reward that you've overcome and you move forward, and you've won that goal and you've grown through it, because everything you're doing, you're growing, and as you move through it and you grow through it, you're eventually arrived there and you get that reward because it's the thing that you want to achieve. And remember, when, for example, when you meet somebody, a boy or a girl, and I love the line in Notting Hill when Julia Roberts says, "I'm just a girl who just wants to love a boy," and that's her coming out of her comfort zone, talking to someone who's not a celebrity, and people like her who are very shallow and so on and so forth, that she's just going and putting herself on the line, sharing her darkest emotions with this person that she loves, and she gets rejected. But through his actions, he realised that he's been a bit of an arse. Because he rejects Julia Roberts for kind of like that anyway. So he decides to pursue it and confront his own fears and his own ordeals, his ordeal, and he confronts that. And his reward is that he faces her in front of everybody. He's very quiet, and she confirms that they're in love. Then have settle down and have the baby together. Beautiful film. Best way, that is one of the best forms I've seen from a romantic point of view to show the journey of the hero's journey. So if you can, have a look at that. And the other thing is Love Actually. And those things are talk from a romantic point of view and overcoming inner fears and overcoming those obstacles in order to be happy. So I hope that's helped, and I'm going to be, my next video, as I said, is going to be, I remember correctly, is a road back, which is about you returning back to your life and what that's about. So I hope this has helped. And obviously, please like, share and subscribe. Press that bell to notify you when new videos coming up, and I'll see you in the next video. Now, keep safe and stay blessed. Namaste.